Right off the rip, this movie falls flat on its face, and that's because a Snickers wrapper flies into an air vent and causes the super security science facility to go into lockdown and shut down. And that's the whole tone of this movie. And I don't know what it is, but I'm pretty sure Universal is incredibly lazy and they do not want to animate these dinosaurs in a city because following that scene, you have some text flash up on the screen, and this text essentially says after the events of Jurassic World Dominion, dinosaurs are all over the city and they start to migrate to the equator because we don't want to animate them in a city setting. That's too hard. That's their reasoning. Long gone are the days of innovation with special effects, and long gone are the days of practical effects. I don't think there's a single practical effect in this movie, and it really shows because there are moments where, like the T-Rex river raft scene, that thing is coming straight for us on the screen, and it looks like it's pinballing down the river. It looks like it is jittering down the river. On top of that, the matting is piss poor in several of these scenes. You can visually tell that there are people standing on a green screen and that what's behind them is fake. Now, this happens from time to time in movies, and it typically happens with movies that are not heavily special effects driven. But this movie is specially effects driven. This is a movie that is very prestigious and a franchise that is very prestigious. You should be taking the time to make sure that these characters look like they are there. Now, I'm going to speculate here a little bit, and I'm going to say that Gareth Edwards signed onto this project under the vision that he had. And then somewhere along the lines, Universal came to him and said, you need to change some things. We need to change this. We need to add this, so on and so forth. And I think at that point, he became numb and stopped caring about this film. I think one of the things that they said needed to be added to this movie was Scarlett Johansson's character because she does not fit in this movie at all. Her character does not make sense in this film. As a matter of fact, the only person that has a full story arc in this movie is Marashala Ali. Scarlett Johansson's character starts off as a mercenary who is obsessed with money and ends where she's saving this family and wants to give the money away and give this cure to the world, but there was no story beat in this movie where there was a turning point for her. Marashala Ali's character at least made sense for a turning point because he starts as a mercenary. You find out that he had a family and that he lost his family, so he's become hardened and is all about the money. And by the end of the movie, he sees another family in trouble and he decides to put his life on the line to help and save that family. That's a clear story arc. That's a redemption arc, and that makes sense. Whether her role was intentional or not, we'll probably never know. But either way, you expect a certain level of acting with these characters or with these actors and actresses, I should say. And her acting in this movie is absolutely terrible. She is very clearly phoning this in, which leads to my theory that she was added in later. But Marashala Ali outshines her in every single which way possible in terms of acting. And man, I'm not really sure what went wrong here. But like I said, she just does not fit in this movie at all. Speaking of unnecessary characters, you have a family in this movie. Yet again, you have another family, and this family, there's a kid that befriends a dinosaur. I know that they are trying to cater to the younger crowd, but it's unnecessary. The whole storyline is unnecessary, and the balance between the family story and the mercenary story and everything, it's there's not enough time given to each of the stories. There's not enough time given to the dinosaurs. And it becomes this huge mess where they're trying to navigate all of these different interweaving stories and they don't know how to do it. It just does not, it's not pulled off properly. On top of that, the kids are insufferable. Even the dad is insufferable. He has no backbone to him, no authority in him at all. And the each of the kids needs a slap on the butt. On top of that, the boyfriend is has no story arc to him. They try to give him one where he's lazy and then, he saves the daughter or whatever, but one, it's too fast, and two, the dad is too forgiving, and it just what are we doing here? This whole family story should not have been added into the movie. And if they removed that family story and just focused on the mercenaries and their mission, it would have been a whole lot better. That said, the mercenaries and their mission are a problem in and of themselves. One, the mercenaries are hapless. Scarlett Johansson's character can't tie herself to the boat to take a stabilized shot. She has a negligent discharge of her weapon when the mosasaur attacks. The other mercenaries are carrying no firearms with them whatsoever. And now I understand that you don't want firearms in this film because it's a Jurassic Park film and you can't have the people going around blowing up all the dinosaurs. That's fine. That makes sense. But if you have these characters at the beginning of the movie, maybe their boat is filled with weapons. They take down a couple of the Spinosaurs. They say, this is going to be nothing but a walk in the park. And then the Mosasaur comes out of the water, crash lands on the front of the boat. The boat crashes. All the guns go everywhere. Now they don't have any weapons on the boat or on the island. Is that not a better story? And does that not make sense? Does that not make these characters seem a little bit more competent than what we got in the actual film itself? On top of that, their mission is relatively easy. I mean, you would think with this prototype blood sample gathering equipment that one of the parachutes wouldn't have opened and then it would have shattered the blood vial sample and they would have had to have figured out how to get, you know, another sample. Or I don't know, maybe if you want to have this super menacing mutated dinosaur, maybe it comes along and it eats the person that's holding the one vial and then they have to get it back somehow. I don't know. You could do 1,000 different things, but what we got was none of that. And it was pretty much a cakewalk the whole time for our characters in terms of their main mission. Even at the end of the story, I never feared for our characters because there is no what is known in writing as all is lost moment. There was none of that. I mean, you can maybe point to the fact that the helicopter that was coming to save them doesn't quite make it, and but you can't point to that because you already know that there's a boat on the docks that they can get to. So there is no moment where you say to yourself, "Oh shit, they're not going to make it out of this situation." So the drama that should be there towards the latter half of the film is completely null and void. On top of story points making sense, this is minor, but they are going to this island to capture the blood and the DNA from these dinosaurs to cure heart disease. Now, I don't know why they chose heart disease. What they should have done was said, okay, these dinosaurs have been introduced into the world from Jurassic World Dominion. They're all over the world now. And these dinosaurs have brought disease and illness to us, and we don't know how to combat it. So, in order to combat it, we need to go to the source. We need to go to these massive creatures, take blood samples so that we can get, you know, some kind of cure synthesized. And the dinosaurs that are living in these cities are their bloodstreams are too corrupt from this disease and people are getting sick and dying. Now, doesn't that make more sense than just trying to cure heart disease? Now, there's a few things that I want to just touch on really briefly at the end of this review here, and that's the fact that this story writing is just, it's not cohesive in the slightest. They have a character who is very clearly supposed to be a villain, and they don't show their true villainous side until the very end of the movie. Now, you would think that maybe halfway through this movie, they figure out that this one character is truly a villain and that he is not collecting these samples for a cure, but for something nefarious. It could be a thousand different things that are nefarious. I don't know, insert bioweapon or, overused story plot here. But the fact of the matter is, the person's very morally gray and makes some very judgmental decisions throughout the movie. But in no point did I say to myself, "Ooh, this guy is evil and we need to get him." On top of that, you have an island that is supposed to be filled with these malformed and disgusting looking dinosaur creatures that could not make it into the main park because they were too visually disturbing for people. So, why is it that every single dinosaur that we see in this movie just looks like a dinosaur? As a matter of fact, the titanosaurs are actually quite pleasing to look at. I think they were very majestic creatures. This doesn't make sense. You At the beginning of the movie, you see dinosaurs that have two heads and malformed bodies, and they're splitting apart almost like John Carpenter's The Thing. Imagine having those things come after you in this movie. Imagine those things chasing our main characters. That would have been interesting. No matter how you chop it up, people love dinosaurs. In this movie, just like the last two movies, which were pretty much panned by critics and audiences alike, they made over $1 billion. This one, I expect, is probably going to do much of the same. If you went and saw the movie, I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did not. I'm not really anticipating this franchise to go anywhere good. And as a matter of fact, if I had to guess, because of the money that this movie is going to rake in, they're going to keep churning out this slop just like true Hollywood fashion. That's all I've got for you guys today. Have a good one.